the amazing Cecilia Estrada. When was the first time we did a podcast? Do you remember? This is a test.
This was like 2019, maybe? No, 2020.
2020, peak pandemic.
Yes,
And now we get to do another podcast. What is this? June 4th, 2025.
2025.
A lot has
5 years
happened.
later.
5 years later. 5 years later. So the world has changed a lot. It's been a big good pleasure working with you on the HQIM initiative. But today we're going to talk about one of those most significant changes that's happened, which is AI. So I know that your specialty is working with primary levels and teachers. You've led a lot of great trainings across the state, interacted with teachers everywhere. So that's exciting. But let's just hop right into it. When it comes to AI, what's some of the presentations and the work that you've done so far with that?
I think AI has been like a big part of my role right now as I support teachers and also as I create resources and lessons for teachers. So I like to see AI as a tool that teachers can use to enhance their already created resources and their knowledge because it does help you, improve the current things that you already have. For me personally, I used it a lot for developing professional development and making them engaging for teachers and making sure that I meet their needs. And when it comes to the classroom or using AI for the classroom, you can use it in so many ways. Like literally, I think the biggest benefit from this is that you can meet the needs of diverse students using that one AI tool that you are comfortable with. Um, so again, I used it for my personal use was more like developing professional development for educators, but to focus more on how teachers can use it. You can use it for a lot of different things, like
Hold on, before we get in there. So, like, how did you use it when you were working with PD? Like, give me maybe like some cheat codes because I can tell you how I used it. I like my easiest one was like just throwing all my slides in there and say, please proofread this, and so
yeah.
that's like the lowest level, right? And then, but how did you do it?
I think for me, I would brainstorm ideas on how I wanted to kind of structure my PD, and then I dumped everything on to the Chat GPT. That's like the main one that I used, and then I asked it to outline the presentation. I even asked for like the title slides. What should I include in each of them? But I think I did. It was like a conversation. It was like, hey, you are a professional development creator, or this is like your main role and you're creating this PD for this audience, and this is what I want it to be. I wanted to have these activities. I have 1 hour to do it. How can I structure? And then it just gave me like a big outline. And then I actually didn't use it the way you used it, so I think that's like part two of what I did. Like I did the
Mhm.
basics of like outline it, give me ideas, make it interactive. And then I put that content to my slides, which I think now that you said that, I could have said I put it into a slide deck for me, or I could do
Yeah,
it and then send it back and they give me feedback and adapt it
yeah,
to be exactly what you want it to be. So I would technically start with my ideas and what
yeah,
I wanted it to be, and then I would tell it what to do
yeah,
with my ideas in my content instead of like create a PD for me,
yeah.
which is different. Like I would come to the AI with my own ideas and what I wanted,
And your
and then
parameters.
yes, and then that way it's still my authentic content and professional development, but the AI is doing all the putting it together pieces, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because that's one of my challenges. I would tell the AI, don't give me an idea. I just want you to review it. Because
Hmm.
sometimes they would want to do it for you and tell you,
Right.
I'm like, no, 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 no. I want to do it how I want to do it. But the other thing I would do is I would ask it to critique it from the lens of like a specific person. Like,
Oh,
what would this
right.
person say
Yeah.
about?
Because they know the people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or if it was
Yeah.
like a profile of somebody that I knew that was going to be like a part of it, or like a type of teacher, like I don't know, like what would a veteran teacher say to this, or what would a new
Right.
teacher say?
Yeah. I used something similar to like when I would do professional development, I don't really love the word expert. Like I don't like coming to people as an expert because I don't
Hmm.
want teachers to feel like I'm telling them what to do or like this is the right way to do it. It's more of like I'm talking to you or with you, not to you, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So I would always use that with like, I want this tone in my, presentation. I'm not an expert. I'm more of like a facilitator. Like you
Mm,
have all the knowledge. I'm just giving you tools to
mhm,
grow that knowledge. So I think that's important
mhm.
when using AI because you don't want to come off as like
Yeah.
this is the right way to do it because me and ChatGPT say so.
The only way.
It's more of like, I'm here to support you. And I
Yeah.
think that's important what you just mentioned, like seeing it from someone else's point of view.
Yeah. Because I'll ask it, like, does it flow? Or I'll tell it, like, give
Mm.
me rate it based off of, I don't know, like, content, flow, blah, 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 and then it'll rate it for me. So it'll rate it, like, on a scale of, like, 1 to 10, and then sometimes it'll give me, like, a 5, and I'm like, "Oh," but it'll wanna give me feedback, or it'll wanna
Right.
tell me how to do it, but I'll tell it, like, "No, don't tell me." Like, I have to tell it, like, yeah, and that part gets overwhelming sometimes. I feel like I have to retrain it each time.
Yeah, I also would use it to like adapt my PD to align with the adult learning theory, like all those pieces that we
Mhm,
sometimes don't think about when we're creating stuff,
mhm,
and like all the UDL pieces, like the same way we want it
mhm,
for students. I think it's important for adults. So
mhm,
all those things that I feel like sometimes my brain couldn't think of all these different ideas or options to provide, I would always use it as like for this slide, I'm doing this. How can I provide choice for educators? How can I make it more engaging? And it does give you ideas. So again, it's taking your idea and enhancing it instead of
mhm,
like you tell me what to do because then it's not really your content.
mhm. So to sum that part up with the when it comes to professional learning, kind of your go-to method is coming to the machine with like your idea and kind of what you're hoping for, what your expectation, laying out the parameters for it, and then asking you to help kind of format or lay something out like that. And then you come back and you refine it based off of it. And on a scale of 1 to 10, so now I'm using the scales, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much better does that make your work? Like
Oh my
from
gosh.
from zero, not at all, to 10, like a lot. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how much time does it save?
In a skill, I think it would be like at 11. It makes it better. And the time, I mean, it depends because it's not super fast if you're having a conversation, but I would say it's really effective. Like, I don't know, it does save you time definitely because you're not having to think everything, but
Mhm,
you still have to spend that time going back and forth with AI and making sure that it's the work stays true to what you want it to be.
mhm.
But it does save you time for sure.
So for you, it's like an assistant that you're able to
Yeah.
pitch ideas to and come back and refine.
Yes.
Okay. So now that's on the teacher leadership side. You have a professional development tomorrow, and then boom, these are the steps that you're carrying out. Which I'm not saying anybody should be prepping the day before. You should have it 2 weeks in advance, by the way.
Yes.
um,
3 if possible.
3 if possible, and 2 people checked it for you, and you rehearsed it,
Mhm.
not in front of AI. So now with regarding like in the classroom, how does AI change the game to support teachers in the classroom?
In the classroom, there's just so much you can do, like, some things I never even thought about, and, teachers have shared with me how they use AI, and it just puts me to think differently. I feel like because 'cause I've been so focused on, the PDPs that I wouldn't really have all these other ideas, but I now if I put myself in, like, a teacher's shoes, I feel like there's just so much you can do. I mainly used it for lesson development, like, I would write out my lessons or, my main activities and use it as an assistant, again, to script out things. I would use it to take an activity and make it more engaging or just get more ideas on how to make it more accessible because sometimes I would look at my lessons and think this activity is kind of boring. Like, how can
Yeah.
I make it better for the students? Instead of just reading a passage, like, what else can we do? So
Mhm,
I would put in my information, like, I'm doing this activity. How can I make it more engaging? Add UDL, all of that. I also used it for supporting multilingual students a lot when it comes to, I feel like a lot of times we don't really have all the tools to support those students. So if you take a lesson or an activity and put it in the AI and say, I want to support multilingual learners that are emerging or that are newcomers. How can I do that for this activity? And it gives you all these different scaffolds and ideas that you can add to your lesson without
mm,
you having to go and search for them. It is important to know what you're doing, obviously, but I do really love the it provides you with all those scaffolds and ideas.
Hmm.
So to enhance the things that you're already doing, rubrics is another one that I used it for a lot. Like create a rubric for this. You know, if my students are setting goals or like writing rubrics, all of that I think it's important, and we don't often have those tools in the classroom. And if you don't have the time to create them yourself,
Hmm.
it's AI is a great tool to use to create those type of resources for you and your students. I've also seen it with like schedules, you know, using it to create schedules and routines for the classroom.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can do, but those are some of the ones that I used, and to create resources, like any type of assignments, you know, those time-consuming things that take a lot of your time in the classroom. I think that any of those things you can do with AI.
And what are like some specific tools that you use?
AI tools.
Hmm.
So I have a couple that I used, and some of these were shared to me by other teachers. So my favorite one has always been ChatGPT. I think that's like the mom of all the AIs. Because with that one you can do so much. You know,
La
you
jefa.
la mera jefa. No, yeah, it seriously is because you can do so much. You can everything I just described you can do with that one. But there are other specific ones that target certain things. You know, like I recently came across this one called Lenny Learning. That one is specifically for social emotional learning lessons and activities. So you'll have not just teachers, but like counselors, therapists going on there and creating resources, all based or all for social emotional learning. What I really love about that one is that you can also even um, call out specific students and their specific needs. Like if you have a student on IEP, you can customize something for that one student,
Mm.
which is really cool. I also use Diffit a lot, which is one of my favorites because it creates assignments, worksheets, any type of materials to supplement your lessons. And they have some very innovative things. Like they'll create some social media templates, but it's like content related, which I really love. They have a lot of different things. They create slide decks for you and images, and it's literally within seconds. Like you put in the prompt or you put in even the reading article that you want to create something for, and it'll give you all kinds of options on different activities and um, resources that you can just print out for your students. I also like Canva. Canva has really been stepping up their game lately. They have so much with AI. Like
I
you
feel like
can,
they're doing everything.
they're doing everything. Like
Yeah.
you have everything there. And if you're a teacher, you have a free account with your district's email. So make sure you get that. I use it a lot for images now, especially working with open educational resources. We were very limited with what images we can use. So with Canva, you can have it create images for a specific thing. And I think that's a great one, especially when you're supporting students with visuals and stuff like that. You can create your own unique ones with the AI. And there's a lot more with Canva AI. I just haven't really played with it, but I know they create a lot of things. The images is just one that I use the most. There's another one called Class Companion, which I didn't really play with that one much, but a colleague of mine did. And it also just creates like assignments, rubrics, and I believe it gives students feedback right on the spot. So like
Oh, that's crazy.
if they complete like a worksheet or something like that, it gives them feedback as if they type in the responses and as if they're they're chatting with the AI, which I think it's really cool because now they're doing the work
Yeah, that's
and you
crazy.
just get to obviously revise
And
that.
what's that
But
one called?
that one's called Class Companion.
I didn't even think about
And
that.
that
That's
one
probably
is
what's going to be coming next, isn't
and
it?
that one is also I believe that one translates to Spanish and like other languages.
Mm.
Hmm Magic School Bus, I think it's the other one. I haven't really played with that one either, but a lot of teachers have shared that one with me, and that one also does like multilingual translations, like they do Spanish and English, which I think it's really great. Yeah, those are some of the ones that I've used.
Mm. So let's say if we're going to take it from two lenses. One of them, let's say you're like the new teacher and you're somebody that hasn't really used AI yet, and you're thinking about kind of dabbling in AI. What is kind of what would you suggest to get started, right? Because we've at this point we've shared like you could use it to organize your presentations, your
Hmm
live, and now we're saying you can use all these different tools. But like, what would be like your one suggestion if like, okay, well, you know what, like this is where you want to get started.
Um, it could be overwhelming when you first start using it, so I would say to pick one tool that you want to use and do a little bit of research on, what's appropriate and how to properly use the AI, because something that I encountered is that sometimes, it gives you a lot of information and you don't want to just trust that everything it gives you is correct. Like you have to still do the work. That's what you and I
Hmm.
were saying, like have that conversation. So just I would say start by doing a little bit of research on what's appropriate to do, how to use it in your classroom. And I would start small. So start with the tool and use it for one thing only. And then little by little you can start developing the different things that you want to use it for, and find resources to help you use it. Like there's this really cool AI prompt library. Like when I first started using it, I didn't really know how to use it. I would just be like, give me this. And now I've learned that if you say please and thank you, it's even nicer. So things like that, I think if you're using it wrong, you may not get the best out of it. So
Hmm.
find resources like that library, which we can probably link here on the podcast so they can access. But there's a whole library with prompts that you can just copy and paste into the AI, and it
Hmm.
gives you like really, really great results versus just putting "give me this,"
Yeah.
or like I changed my tone from the beginning. I would just literally say, "Give me this." Now I'm like, "Hi, chat. Can you please give me this? You are a, program specialist developing content, or like you're a second grade teacher supporting multilingual students. Like all those things
Yeah.
matter. But again, you got to start slow.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Cecilia. Really appreciate the conversation. Um, and check out all the tools that she shared.